But it was another day where Good News had to compete with the static of what is now a naked campaign by the supporters of Foreign Minister to unseat the Prime Minister. Labor continues to be haunted by its former leader Kevin Rudd, and there's despair about where it will all end, as political editor Heather Hewitt reports.
Oh, it's great you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us. Hopefully we can get you up to our region one day and have a look at our area. Just don't forget the checkbook.
It's fantastic to be able to start with the recognition. Yes.
In a week that had started badly for Julia Gillard, this was a much welcome chance to display some conciliatory prime ministerial spirit.
Hello. Health people. G'day. I'm good, thank you.
A meeting this morning with Indigenous leaders in the lead up to the government's annual progress report to the Parliament on closing the gap between disadvantaged Aboriginal communities and the rest of the nation.
Every day, our conscience demands we work to close the gap.
We are all on a personal journey when it comes to this subject.
The report shows that we are seeing progress. We are making gradual gains.
I will work as constructively as I humanly can.
A rare moment of unity in the Parliament, and Julia Gillard could do with more of that within her own ranks, as Kevin Rudd and his supporters watch her every move, and every slip she makes, big or small, is magnified.
The problem at the moment in Canberra is that the government resembles a soap opera, like The Bold and the Beautiful, with all the different players.
Not quite, but it's now got to the point where Julia Gillard's ministers can't escape the constant media questioning about her leadership or the circumstances surrounding her 2010 coup.
I can tell you, I've known Julia for over, I think it's 20 years now, and she is a woman of principle, a woman who is extremely tough and very focused on doing what she thinks is right, and she's got a pretty tough job at the moment.
Did Julia Gillard show you internal Labor polling just before Kevin Rudd was ousted?
No, she did not, and all these propositions about who said what to whom and when are being made, but the fact is this: Julia Gillard decided to challenge Kevin Rudd for the leadership on the night when she went to his room and said that that's what she was going to do.
Did you see any polling in the days leading up to Julia Gillard taking Prime Minister?
I don't comment on internal polling, but I'm a member of the National Executive Committee. If you understand the workings of the Labor Party, you know that gives with it certain access.
I didn't see the polling, I didn't touch the polling, I didn't read the polling, I didn't hear about the polling, I wasn't part of that polling process.
It was the ABC's Four Corners report on Monday that intensified the media frenzy over leadership tensions, amid claims of internal polling used in the lead-up to the coup, comparing Kevin Rudd unfavourably to Julia Gillard.
Did you specifically see the polling?
I'm answering your question. I can't summon to mind details of polling that I may have seen at that time. I've seen
There have been subsequent claims in the media that Julia Gillard personally handed copies to colleagues to persuade them to back her. If that is the case, not one of them is prepared to put their hands up. Julia Gillard insists her decision to oust Rudd was made the night before it happened. But that's no longer the point. What matters now is her credibility and whether voters believe her, as most of her colleagues continue to shake their heads about what possessed her to do the Four Corners interview in the first place. Once again, her political judgment is in question in a highly volatile climate, while the opposition has a field day on a range of trouble spots.
How can the Australian people have any confidence that she should hold the office of Prime Minister?
Because they are the kind of achievements for our nation that the government is focused on, while the opposition, of course, trawls through the gutter, making things up.
I refer the Prime Minister to revelations on the ABC 7:30 report last night that a series of text messages and phone calls occurred between Mr Hodges from her office and Ms Kim Sattler of ACT Unions in relation to the Leader of the Opposition's comments on Australia Day. Has the minister viewed the text message exchanges between Mr Hodges and Ms Sattler?
Well, I say to the opposition, if you've got an allegation about my conduct, put it. If you don't have an allegation about my conduct, get out of the gutter, because your conduct today is disgusting.
What is preventing her from contacting Fair Work Australia to ask them to resolve the unacceptable delay in the investigation of the member for Dobell, which is now in its 4th year?
This is about improper influence. Some days they say that, and that line of attack came to a shuddering halt today, repudiated in Senate estimates, the General Manager of Fair Work Australia having properly looked at the matter, saying clearly on the record that there has been no interference.
The opposition smells a leadership bloodbath on the other side, and make no mistake, the Parliamentary Labor Party is distracted and despondent. Members know they're in a very big mess. It's no secret in this building that Kevin Rudd and his backers are briefing some journalists about plans to challenge when Julia Gillard makes her next big slip. No matter that they deny this and don't have anywhere near the numbers to succeed or even come close. But in the words of one seasoned warrior from the Hawke government era, it's past the point of worrying about mistakes and slip-ups, because no matter what, the government is stuffed. It can't win the next election and may be headed for a wipeout, losing up to 40 seats with Gillard at the helm.
But as I've said, I think she's the right person to lead the country and the party, because she's always focused on doing what's right for the future.
Her backers are sticking to Plan A, that Julia Gillard soldiers on. They know the majority of the party still finds Rudd an unpalatable choice.
Is it time to make the challenge, though? Is it frustrating? Are you frustrated?
Mr Rudd, are you showing the Prime Minister the loyalty she never showed you?
I'm very happy to be the Foreign Minister.
But by mid-year, if the polls continue the way they are, if a Rudd challenge hasn't happened by then, and marginal seat holders are getting even more nervous and despondent, the Prime Minister just may be asked to do the right thing for the future of her party and bow out for a third candidate to at least try to save seats.
Political editor Heather Ewart.